Hello students, let us continue the topic discovering truth. Saga continues. The passage begins from here. The mummy is in very bad condition because of what Carter did. Carter is the name, okay? In the 1920s, said Jahi Hawass, General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, as he leaned over the body for a long first look. Carter, Howard Carter, that is, was the British archaeologist who in 1922 discovered Tut's tomb after years of futile searching. Its contents, though hastily ransacked in antiquity, were surprisingly complete. They remain the richest royal collection ever found and have become part of the Pharaoh's legend. Stunning artifacts in gold, their eternal brilliance meant to guarantee resurrection, caused a sensation at the time of the discovery and still get the most attention. But Tut was also buried with everyday things he would want in the afterlife: board games, a bronze razor, linen, undergarments, cases of food, and wine. Dear students, let us have some of the meanings. Futile means pointless or incapable of producing the result of something. Hastily means fast or swiftly. Ransacked means raid or go through a place to steal or damage something. Antiquity means age or oldness. Resurrection means restoration to life. Afterlife means life after death, based on the belief that the essential part of an individual's identity continues to the next life after the death of the physical body. Now let us have the explanation. As Jahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt, leaned over the body to have a look, he said that the mummy was in a very bad condition because of what the British archaeologist Howard Carter did to it in the 1920s. He discovered King Tut's tomb in 1922 after a long search. The valuable treasures of Tut had been explored earlier too, but surprisingly they were complete. The treasure found at Tut's grave is the richest till date and has come to be known as the Pharaoh's legend. It has artifacts in gold which are eternally beautiful and as good as new. Such artifacts still get attention. Tut was buried with things of daily use like a razor made of bronze, games, linen garments, and undergarments, and boxes of food and wine which he could use in the next life. Further passages here. After months of carefully recording the pharaoh's funerary treasures, Carter began investigating his three nested coffins. Opening the first, he found a shroud adorned with garlands of willow and olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflowers. The faded evidence of a burial in March or April. When he finally reached the mummy, though he ran into trouble, the ritual resins had hardened, cementing to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. No amount of legitimate force could move them, Carter wrote later. What was to be done? Funerary treasures means the valuable things with which the king was buried. Three nested coffin means three coffins placed one in another in order of decreasing size. The innermost coffin houses the body of the deceased. Shroud means a length of cloth in which a dead person is wrapped. Adorned means decorated. Garlands of willow means a wreath of flowers and leaves. Mummy means a body of a human being or animal that has been ceremonially preserved by removal of the internal organs. Treatment with the natron and resin. and wrapping in bandages. Ritual means here the resins used in the ceremony of mummification. Resins means a sticky, flammable substance that is insoluble in water. Legitimate means reasonable. Now let us have the explanation of the above passes. Carter took a few months to record the treasures found in Tut's grave. Then he began investigating his three coffins, which were nested one in another. In the first coffin, he found a piece of cloth with garlands of willow, olive leaves, wild celery, lotus petals, and cornflower, which suggested that he had been buried in the month of March or April. When he reached the third coffin, he was in trouble. The body had hardened due to the resins which had cemented the body, and it had stuck to the bottom of the coffin, which was made of gold. Carter wondered what to do next because no amount of force could separate the two. The sun can beat down like a hammer this far south in Egypt, and Carter tried to use it to loosen the resins. For several hours, he set the mummy outside in blazing sunshine that heated it to 149 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing buzzed, he reported with scientific detachment that the consolidated material had to be chiseled away from beneath the limbs and trunk before it was possible to raise the king's remains. Dear students, let us have some of the meanings. Blazing means very hot, buzzed means moved or shifted, a slight movement. Chiseled away means to cut something with a chisel. Carter tried to loosen the resins by keeping the body in the hot sun. This is the explanation of the above passages. He kept the mummy in 149 degrees Fahrenheit heat for several hours, but still it remained stuck. He reported that a chisel could be used to cut down the mummy from the limbs and the trunk so that Tut's body could be taken out of the coffin. Dear students, let us have only these explanations today, and further explanations will be made in the next lectures. Thank you, students.